All right, so I'm going to ask the playwright performers a couple of questions, then we'll open it up for you all, okay? So first question I have is, what inspired the piece that you shared? You want to go first?
A multitude of things inspired this piece. It first started off, the piece was basically like this historical kind of telling of all the different black performers that have come through and what I could learn from them. But ultimately, it divvied down to, or I asked myself the question, what do I want to tell about life right now for me? And, you know, we're about to be graduating. We're seniors. We're about to go out into this industry. And so something that I've been wrestling with as of late is what kind of roles do I want to play? You know, how do I want to be seen? So that was the biggest factor into how and why I wrote the piece.
It's on work. Hello. What inspired this piece? Growing up, seeing not a lot of black and brown people on the TV was more than before I was born, but not as much as right now. There's always been this lack of raw, authentic storytelling. They like to tell the stories that are like really pretty and like everyone looks great and they fall in love and then they go to da-da-da-da-da. And that wasn't really my lived experience. So I wanted to tell the stories that everyone kept hiding from. There's always stories that people don't see or people don't want to see and all of these things that people don't talk about. And they're real and everyone experiences these things on a daily basis. And I feel like sharing such a raw, vulnerable kind of experience can help someone. And if I can help someone, that I did my job.
I think, yeah, we got it on. Okay. Yeah, for me, the biggest thing that, the way that my one-man show initially started was based on the book Barracoon by Zora Neale Hurston. And that was kind of the catalyst for my inspiration of exploring ancestry. And then I also started to explore my own history, right? And so the title of my piece is actually the name of the plantation that my dad was a sharecropper on for while he was growing up in Mississippi. And so I took from that as well. And then I also took from my own story and felt the need to integrate these things. Initially, it was about just the ancestor. And then I felt the need to include a more modern character. And so then Miss Farah was like, we'll put them in conversation with each other. And so I started brainstorming, and then it all kind of came to be what it is currently.
Wonderful. All right, and the last question I have for you all before we open it up is, what are some things that you learned during this process with YPT through the writing process and the rehearsal process?
How to write.
Right.
Yeah, this process, man, it has been a long one. We started back like late 2025, and it's the biggest thing for me is it's so beautiful to watch the idea and then the first draft, and then how the first draft consolidates to the second draft, and the second draft gets to the third draft, and you get to that final draft, and you like, whoa, I wrote this, and this is like so dope, and this is actually telling a story. It's just been such a wonderful experience to find my voice, because I've always talked about how I want to create my own things, because, you know, like my piece was talking about, when we get out here in this real world, they're creating these narratives that they think that we should be in. So at the end of the day, you have to create. Like, the reason why Sinners is because Ryan sat in that room and he wrote that mug, and he's got up and he did it, and now look at the success. So yeah, we have to create, man. So it's been such a pleasure, yes.
I can't lie, I did forget the question. What is the question?
What are some things you learned during your time with YPT with the writing process?
Yes. So I learned that I'm precious. If I want to get real vulnerable here, when I was writing this first piece, every time I opened my computer, I was bawling my eyes out. I couldn't see the computer. I was just typing and typing and typing. And then by the time I got to like tech rehearsal, there was this cathartic experience, and Farrah brilliantly said, I am precious and I have the choice to share what I want to share. And it was great. It's a fabulous time.
Yeah, for me, I think, like you said, Jaden, I learned to write. This was like the first time. As a kid, I always loved writing. I loved telling stories, but this was like the first time where I really had to, especially when I committed to saying yes, when they're like, we want to workshop your piece, I said, yeah, sure. And then the reality hit, like, okay, I actually need to lock in and like do this. And so, yeah, I just really had to be honest about my story and my life. But then I had to learn how to put distance between Israel actually and then other characters that I played, and I think it's nice to have agency, I learned, over the stories I tell, but at the same time to, like you said, Tab, be precious with yourself. It's not a therapy session on stage. It definitely can be therapeutic, but yeah, it was important. Like when we were in rehearsal process, sometimes Miss Farrah, you would be like, all right, you don't have to be that close to Israel. Like, let's be like, how would Luke do that? And how would maybe Israel do that? And I think that helped me be honest to the story I was trying to tell, but not come up here and just be vomiting something on the audience that wouldn't actually help anybody. You know?
All right, we're gonna open it up to you all. We have a microphone here, so please wait to get the microphone just so everybody can hear.
Hey y'all. So I'm I'm also a writer. And and I was wondering, because I'm in the middle of writing my own short right now, but it's for film. But anyway, it's about 15 minutes. But I was wondering, because I'm having such trouble like condensing the story to that short. So I'm wondering if y'all had that challenge, like sort of writing y'all's, and if so, how did you kind of like get over that?
Just keep writing. And it sounds backwards, but my aunt, who's in the audience, hey auntie, whenever I was writing, there's so many thoughts. You want to say so many different things, but you can't condense until you have it all out there. You need to get it all out of your head so that you can then see it and then organize. Don't try and edit while you write. Just keep writing. And then when you feel that the story's done or the message you want to say is done, then you can go and edit. And then don't be afraid to share it with people whose opinion matters to you. Share it and hear what they get from it. And then the more you share it, the more you realize, oh, this I'm saying this twice, or I can scrap this, and it will fit the time. Cause I was running at like 20 minutes and I got it down to 13 and a half. So just keep writing. Oh.
You all done?
Go on ahead.
Hello. Okay. Just wanted to ask for the quick one. Super inspired, beautiful work from all three of you all. I'm interested in hearing from you now that you have written and performed your work. What are you inspired to do next, either with this or with another piece, or how do you plan to elevate from here with such elevated and beautiful work now that your talent has been proven and seen from yourself and your peers?
Well, one, I was actually talking to my beautiful mother about this earlier. I want to expand the story. You know, now that I've written it and I performed it and it was one person, I want to expand it to this whole thing, a full-length play eventually. And it inspires me to write more. It's opening that door. It's opened the floodgates, and it showed me that I can do this, and not to be afraid of it. Just think, do, and it's gonna come. And yeah, just keep doing it.
Yeah, for me, in this process found my voice and found that I really love to tell historical stories, but in a fictional way where I can kind of stretch the boundaries. So like for the piece that I did, this one man show, like Juba and BJ, which is like a abbreviation for Bilbo Jangles, were two prominent black tap dancers. And so like incorporating their story into this and like using factual people to kind of pique others' curiosity is something I want to keep doing. I definitely want to tap into my film bag, maybe write a little bit for film. But yeah, I think I wanted to keep stretching this one-man show like Jaden was saying, because I know like there's so many big like TV shows or full-length plays that started as one-man shows and then we're able to expand into big prominent plays or TV shows or movies. So yeah, I'd love to see where this can go.
Oh, I actually do have an answer. I want to see this play on other bodies. I think that writing and then doing the thing you wrote, it caused a lot of dissonance in my brain. So like take off the writing hat and put on the actor hat, but then also kind of be in the director hat, but then don't because you can't because you got to be focused. So I want to see this play on other people. That's what I want to do next.
I wanted to ask, how did you come up with the details for you to make your play and how to act it on stage?
I got you, girl. Don't worry.
That is a great question. Like Tab just said, it was really about removing the writer hat and putting on the actor hat and understanding that now I was the father of this. Now I have to be the child, and or the bearer, the mother. So it was really about realizing what I wrote, what I want to say with what I wrote, and just following your lead. Like you were such a great director. You brought so much out of this piece because y'all, it was all over the place at a minute, but you took it and you basically told me to calm down and just do the job, and that's what happened. And I feel like it resonates more when you calm down. So yeah.
Any other questions? Oh.
Yeah, I think for me, it was the hardest part was putting on the actor hat after writing this for so long. And I remember a lot of times in rehearsals, I would have to be reminded, like, stop thinking so much, because I spent so much time thinking and being detailed and being like, okay, I want this to be true to like my ancestry, but then also make it general for other people to still feel like they were a part of the story, even if they didn't exactly relate to every single detail. And so I kind of had to be strategic and detailed and researched for the right part, but then make sure that I still allowed myself to be free and realize that, okay, all that information lives in my body. How can I embody that and just be free in my choices that I made and whatnot? And yeah, not think so much. I think it was the letting go for me that helped me be able to put both caps on with confidence and watch this thing thrive.
Is there another question?
Big fan
Oh.
of all three of you. Sorry. So my question to you is, if anything, like, what did you have to let go of to write these pieces, and then what are you taking away from it now that you guys are on this other side?
Yes. What did I have to let go of? Control. You can only control yourself, nothing else. Everything else you can manage and you can pay attention to, but you can only control yourself. And then what am I taking away? That at the end of the day is going to end. And you are going to do the thing because it's your job, and you're going to love what you do, and you're going to feel it out, and it feels different with a crowd. And then you're going to move on. You're going to move on, and it's going to be great. You're going to do the next best thing.
I would say I had two things I had to let go of. One is fear, because I've never like I never even thought of myself as a writer. But early on, you said you're not a writer. You're an early writer. You're a novice writer. You're getting into it. You're a beginner. And that so letting go of calling myself an actor and not a writer, and instead being like, I'm an actor and I'm a writer. Like that instilled in me a certain kind of confidence that I can do this. And I also let go of doubt, like doubting that I don't know how to write these words. I don't know how to put these words on, because I knew the concepts. I knew the ideas. I knew how I wanted things to go. I just didn't know how to say it. So really sitting with myself and doing the research and understanding both who these people are, but who this character is that I'm creating that aren't Sydney and Melvin, these two actual people. When you figure that out and when you really sit with it, it just starts to flow like water. And then you hit that block, and then it flows like water, and then you hit that block. But it's like, it's the perseverance of getting over that block and continuing and just letting it go. Yeah.
I had to let go of people pleasing. This story was so special to me, but I, for whatever reason, was like, what about other people that might hear it and not like it, or what if somebody else, like thinking through all these things, and I just had to let go of that. Like, this is where it's at, and this is the story that I have to tell, because it's realistically my life, and if I'm not comfortable with it, then like that's not, I need to do the work to become comfortable with it, because I can't live another reality except mine. And so, yeah, I had to let go of people pleasing, and then I think am taking with me just the beauty of different forms of art. I love being able to sit down and watch media the way that we were kind of socialized to enjoy it, whether that's like in linear, psychological, realistic storytelling through movies or in a play. And I had to be willing to just go there and be like, okay, I'm the only person on stage, and I'm playing two different people. Let me stop trying to make it normal, whatever that means, and just like be fun with it. And Ms. Farrell, you say all the time, like, the audience will get it. Like, just like trust yourself. So yeah, that's what I'm taking with me.
Is there any other questions?
Yes. One, thank you guys so much. That was real. I felt each of you. Two, time check, my friend.
Time
It's
to go.
8:24.
So it's time to go. Love you guys. It's been great.
Tell them why you gotta go.
Oh yeah. I'm assistant directing a play in New York, so I have to go catch a train.
Yes, I did have a question. So my question is, one, without telling me why, what is one of your favorite, it's a two-parter. What is your favorite story? Oh my goodness. And two, are we safe? Nice. Nice. And two, what do you tell stories for? What do you do it for?
Is that okay? Here we go. Okay, yeah. For me, what I tell stories for. I think I was sitting with that question today, and I was journaling about it, and it came down to like I really do tell stories for. I think my younger self. Really, that sounds so dumb and cliche, but I don't know. Like I realized earlier, and I had never met your son before. But he was here today when we were setting up, and he just reminded me of me when I was a kid, because he like had a cardigan on and like glasses and like tucked in, and it just felt like he probably dressed himself that way. And that's how I was as a kid, and it just like took me back to little Israel, who was just so creative and so obsessed with the arts and wanted to tell stories. Like I would just take cardboard boxes and create stages, and like I would tell my parents like I'm gonna be on stage, and been committed ever since. And so like I tell stories for him, and like when I was writing this piece, I had to really like, in a weird way, like talk to my younger self and be like, are we liking this? Like, is this how we need the narrative to go, and just realizing that I was maintaining integrity with that. Yeah. Oh, my favorite story. Um, I don't know. I think honestly right now, stories that I'm obsessed with have been like weird, mind-bending, like psychological stuff. I don't know, like kind of like Black Mirror vibe type stuff. Those are the things that I've been really loving, because I'm realizing that those can be such a good political commentary on the world, while also not straight up just being in your face, like we're telling you about yourself in the world. And I don't know, I like stuff like that.
Everybody say bye, Tab. I tell stories, and this is cliche too, for community. I love the feeling of being in a room with people and like this energy right here, and like knowing that you guys are even if you aren't taking anything away from it, just you being here in your presence, and you committed time and effort to getting here to hear these stories, that's what you do it for. And you pray and you hope and you do the work so that they do leave with something, so that they do question, so that they do interrogate their own lives and the lives around them and the world around them. Like, that's what you do it for. Theater is such a communal experience. It's always been, it always will be, and that's why I do it, for the community, for our community, and for the communities that need to hear what our community has to say. My favorite story. I could tell you favorite movie. My favorite movie is Inception. Yeah, love Inception.
All right.
Hello, everyone. What's up? I'm not here to hold you long, but strong. Amen. Amen. Thank you. I feel like, well, first of all, shout out to everyone. I feel like it was a really vulnerable show telling, and I can tell that each felt like a coming of age story. I can tell you all were like parsing through big emotions and handled all of those ideas with care. And my question would be, in your process of becoming, like, what did you learn about each of the characters you were dealing with, especially the historical figures on stage? And even for Tabitha, kind of writing the antagonist ballet, I wonder what that did for you in terms of empathy, and also teaching you who you want to become and who you do not want to become. But such a loaded figure like Bojangles Robinson and Melvin Van Peebles, Sidney Poitier, what did you get through your experience parsing through those legacies?
And after this, we have one more question.
I learned that I need to stop looking at historical figures as caricatures, because you look at these, and you look at these people, and they're these legends, and you have an idea of who they are, but through the research you realize that they're just a human being that did what they love to do at the end of the day, and they were going to fight, and they were going to do what they needed to do what they love to do, So that translated into how I wrote the Jaden character, in him wanting more for himself, and him wanting to tell stories, and him training and doing what he needed to do to succeed. And that's, at the end of the day, all that he wants. And that translates into my life. I'm going to do what I need to do to succeed, because there's something that I love to do, and people say it's hard. We gonna find out, So, yeah, but really at the root of it was figuring out that these people are human beings, and watching the interviews and seeing how they live and react and interact with other people. It was like, oh, this is just a guy, doing the thing. So,
Also, shouts out, bro, because I was so quick during my one man when you said your name. I was about to improv a whole little bit, and then I didn't. You tempted me so badly, though. But I appreciate how engaged you were, and like your question is so good. So yeah, I will say, like, for me, on the conversation when it came to ancestry, I had to realize, like, I think, I wouldn't be here without obviously those who came before me and those who paved the way for me, but also realizing that they weren't perfect people either. And so holding their stories with as much complexity as I held Luke's character and even my own story, like realizing that we're all complex, we make mistakes, and I'm sure there's things that those who came before us, mistakes they made, and it almost sounds like wrong to say that they made mistakes, but that's just human. And so, yeah, I think in me realizing that, I was able to, just bring more life to them and have more empathy with the way that I wrote each character, and then even the way that I feel like physicalized or worked on my physicality for each character. Yeah.
Hi, guys. I would just love to know what you guys did to ground yourself throughout this process. You said it was a very long one, and I would just love to know, like, what you did to come back to yourself at the end of the day, especially portraying so many different characters. How are you?
I'm good. I'm chilling, man. I don't know. I feel like because, I wrote, and we actually talked about this and, the changing of the name and kind of separating him. But I relate to the character so much because he low-key is me in a way. So it's like at the end of the day, it kind of, brought more fire to it and more passion to it because I understand where he's coming from and I understand where he wants to go. So it just made me want to work on it more. And in grounding myself, it was really just about because this was a long process. But having deadlines are good. I love deadlines because they force you to lock in. And that's when, like, she know I was bad. But yeah, like, that was grounding too. Like, being like, this is a job. This is what I have to do. And you gonna do it. And you got it. So, yeah. But the character, me the character.
Yeah, what helped me stay grounded really was the community that I had set up for myself right now. My amazing therapist who's like watching online has been amazing. My wonderful community, my relationship, my friends, like all helped me stay grounded and reminded me in really loving ways and in really harsh ways, like, hey, like lock in, like, and then also like I do have to shout out, I think I was feeling very discouraged at the top of this year as well with this piece and wanting to tell it, but this beautiful class that I'm taking with Dr. Mercer really helped me a lot. Yeah, it really helped me just feel inspired that like I can tell stories, to be in a class with a playwright who I've read since freshman year and who was just like such a scholar and amazing and like telling stories and was like, let's make this class fun and alive. I was like, man, like I felt the fire that existed in me as a kid wanting to tell stories coming back. And so it didn't feel like I could lose myself at all because I was being the most true to myself in why I was telling this story and writing in general. So, yeah. I love you too, Dad. I love you so much. Well, thank you.
All right, so before we wrap up, I just want to ask you two, how can folks support you? Do you have any projects that are coming up, or if you're on social media, what are ways people can support future endeavors?
Yes. Well, you can support me on Instagram is the best way at YC_112003, I believe. I think is my ad. Yeah. Instagram is the best way. I've been doing a lot of film projects recently. I've been choreographing. And yeah, so there's a couple of things coming up soon that you can find me on.
Okay. It's my birthday. Oh yeah, sure. Yes, we okay, well, first and foremost, follow me on Instagram if you want to, because that's the main thing. Jaden Michael Madgett. I know Madgett is going to be hard to spell, but Madgett. Madgett. Jaden. Don't put no Y in there. You can support me first and foremost, if I go on, hopefully. Folger Library. Come see As You Like It. Even if I don't come on, come see As You Like It. A really dope play, a really dope cast, and I will let you guys know if you follow that Instagram if I'm going on, so then you can see me support. But also, as we mentioned, we are graduating. So with graduating, we have a showcase. We will have our showcase on April 11th at the Atlas. Me and Everett, we are doing a scene together. You and Tab are doing a scene together, right? Yes, so come through, see us act in pieces that weren't written by us. And if you are in New York at the time, we are also having our showcase in New York City, April 14th, 13th, at the Alvin A. Lee Dance Company. Come through, yes.
Thank you all for being such a wonderful audience, for being supportive of these young, brilliant artists. As a reminder, we have our Giving Flowers Gala. On your way out, pick up a flyer, check out our merch as well. And I also just want to thank my YPT colleagues. Thank you, Keita Newborn. Keita's YPT's production manager, and she was running this whole show as it was going on, so thank you, Keita. Thank you, Cody, our communications manager, as well as our volunteer for managing the live stream. And yeah, just thank you all again. Thank my colleagues at the check-in table, everybody. So I hope that y'all get home safely. Continue to support YPT. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you, sir. Yes, thank you.